Torah anytime, Kamishkacha Pratis, and Kala Lashon, and Rabbi Yosef Yapi. When I take a better shalom for everything. Now, it's a big Yisro, it's a chaparayim. Every minute, chapa shmuz with the Yevish. Give you anything you want. I want to tell you, I have 2 messages. I knew 2 giants in the last door. Rabbi Miller, Zatzal, Reb Nosson Bachfeigel. Reb Nosson Bachfeigel told me, alles get the tate. Hashem gives you everything. Lass nicht up the tate. Don't let go. Because the Yetzer is going to make you let them. Keep moving, you'll get everything you want. This man got Gilul, the one who said that. Reb Nosson. Keep going, don't be this fool. And Rabbi Miller Zatzal told me, I was taking a walk with him, and suddenly, very suddenly, from nowhere, he just blurted out, had no connection with what we were discussing. Such a beautiful world HaKadosh Baruch Hu made. So many midos to work on. Yeah, it is. So many midos to work on. Now look, I was just told today, Reb Shlomo Wolbe Zatzal, I heard, somebody who was close to him, he told me, Reb Shlomo Wolbe said, no starting cheshbon hanefesh, not this door. I did this wrong, I did that wrong, you're going to go meshuga. For this door, you write your milas. Now, I didn't know that he said that, but I've been screaming that like crazy because I see the truth of it. Don't get involved. They did this wrong, that wrong. Get out of the mud. Laws up. The Yetzer Hara wants you to see evil. Get away. Just like we just heard now. Beautiful. Chaim Volozhin said, "Rak kol hayom," means you want to see bad in yourself all day. No, so therefore, a person should not get involved in seeing bad in himself. Reb Shlomo Wolbe. Now, Rabbi say, I'm going to tell you a ha'ara in a different direction. Take it or leave it. I came to a conclusion that getting involved in your chesronos ain't so bad. You can do it and you'll enjoy it. Mishkefel. It's based on the altar for Navadigs. You say, do ad makom sheyodei magas. And then you potter. And then you'll get siyata d'shmaya. Now, I've done this. I can't describe to you how geshmak it is. You keep doing it. You do like this. You write down as many chesronos as you want. It's fun. In the Vardik, they said, Kanei l'chol chava. The kaneh. Kaneh is a pen. Should be your friend. Call your friend your best friend. Write down. I have a bad habit. I come late to davening. Boom. Next. I'm always yelling at my figure. Next. I'm always, whatever you got there. Keep writing them down. Now, on each thing, write a possible solution. Coming late. Maybe I'll be mispal before I go to sleep. Maybe I'll daven at a different place. Right? 1 or 2, 3. You don't know how much energy you get by spelling out what you're doing wrong, because I'm going to tell you something. Shlomo Wolbe is right. You write down your chesronos, ain't so good. But I want to tell you, when it's floating around your head all day, which it is, it sits all over you. You're thinking of it without trying. You don't have to write down nothing. It's 24/7 people are thinking of their chesronos. And that's not so great when you write it down and you pinpoint what's wrong, and then you write a possible solution, and then you go with the altars you say that you did what you could, and the Eibush will help you already. It's a bomb. I found suddenly, without even realizing it, this thing's improving and that thing's improving. And again, you're not mechuyev to turn your chap maluchim, or Chaim Hoppen used to say, chap nishkei maluchim. You're going to turn into a malach overnight. Do what you can. And that's fine. The Abed says happy with that. So anyway, that's a ha'ara that I would like to, on working yourself. Ain't the end of the world. I find that very often even more geschmack than learning my positive Musa on B'tachon. One thing I'll tell you, I learned Musa today and it was not on B'tachon. And believe me, I feel the difference. I don't care what Musa you learned. You learned the Black Gemara. You didn't learn Musa on B'tachon. You know, it's not the same. You're a different person. You don't know what it does to you. But you learn Musa. I'm very happy. Did you learn Shah B'tachon or you learn Musa? You didn't learn B'tachon, sei mir gesund. It's not working. I don't care what you did. I'll tell you what happened with me once with Rabbi. I had a big issue and I needed money. I needed the Yeshua, whatever it was. I was holding stock and learning those days, regular learning. Besides Musa, I was doing it all. I was stark. I learned Musa, half an hour, whatever. The rest of the time, I blocked Gemara like normal. And nothing happened. I didn't have my Yeshua. And I was amazed. I called my Rebbe, I'm not getting my Yeshua. And I'm doing everything. How much Musa you learning? Half an hour. But I'm learning a blot Gemara. So, you want a blot Gemara or you want to have a Yeshua? Take your pick. You want to be a Bissel Gesalam, then why not? You know that? I've seen it happen where younger light, they don't have the chinuch of learning a lot of Musa on B'tachon. And they learn, and it's fine. And Rachmana litzlan, they've had difficult times. And I don't want to say how difficult, serious problems. They have no shaykhs with Musa. What are you going to do with the poor guy? You want your Yeshua? You learn B'tachon. Don't learn Reishis Chachma on the Vesvas, on whatever it is. You learn a sefer on Kina Taiva Kav. You got to learn on B'tachon. You want a Yeshua? You got to learn that. But I did. Learn more. Still nothing happened. Learn more. In Novhardok, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. It's impossible not to work. I was told this again and again. And I heard it from people who lived it, and by me, it eventually worked. Not stam. I have nitzim galuyim. I have doctors amazed. How'd you do it? I learned B'tachon and more B'tachon and more B'tachon. You learn B'tachon, the Eibishter helps. And if you need more, sometimes you need more. It's not beyond me to learn hours a day. Come inside, let's go. We got Torah anytime. The last estimate was about 4,000. We're not sure, but we just want you to know who I am. You want to push me back? I better watch it. Haman was an egomaniac. That's exactly what Haman was. You want to push me back, and my oilam is gonna. They are flooding me. You want to push me back? Okay. Anyway, Rabbi Sai Milan B'tachon now. You can't be chaylik on your Rebbe. It's not right. But I do this all the time because I know if he'd come down here, if Chazal would see what way people are taking their words and using it in the wrong way. My Rebbe once told me, this Chazal is not for you. There are Chazals that at Kodesh Kadosh, we know that, but not for you. The Chazal is not for you. It's hurting you. But it's Chazal. But it's not for you. You ever hear it? You know, look, eating matzahs is a mitzvah. But not on sukkahs, Eating in a sukkah, eating chametz in a sukkah is good for sukkahs. It's great. When, where, how, who. There's different people, different dairies. You have to get the chazal that works for you, that you like, that turns you on, and stay with it. That's what you got to do. Now, my Rebbe did tell me, but I'm still sitting on that. Reb Chaim Motcha Weinkrich Amal Lichtige Gan Eden told me, before Purim, Tzaver and Shikha, you won't be besimcha. For learning Chavos Avavos for 4 hours, then you'll be besimcha. And I'm nichshol. I drink, Rabbi say. I drink. I'm nichshol. I'm not quite in my Rebbe's madrega. I'm hoping to get there. But at the moment, I drink. And I recommend everybody drink. I see one of the questions they're going to be asking me is, what should you do? What do I think of drinking? That's one of the questions. Wow. You picked the right customer for that question. You want to know what I think of drinking. Ha ha. You haven't guessed that by now. What do I think of drinking? The more the merry. What's a question? Drink! I know Chaimel, and they held that, Kipshutai. I once asked the Chaimel, how do you, what are you giving me? The Ramah, which Ramah? Who? They don't seem to have heard of the Ramah. In a certain crowd, it's a Gemara. Come on, what are you doing? You know, there's in that Gemara, something went wrong after. Oh yeah, Ba Rabba v'Shachat Rab Zeder. You know the Gemara? Rabba came and he shechted. He got Adla Yada. He got up and he shechted his friend. He shechted. The covered Purim. Shechted him. You know the Gemara? Sach. Yeah, whatever. Shetlach, push-up shot. He went ahead and he shechted him. Adla Yada, and he shechted his. Adla Yada, boom. He shechted his best friend. Right there, in the middle of the Purim Suda. He turned it into a Tishbab. Right? Shechted him. So then when he recovered, they told him, look what you did. So he said, oh, okay, that's no problem with Amoraim. Rabba, it's a problem. So what's Tchiyasa? The smallest Amora can do Tchiyasa Meitzim. That's Kleingeld. But now Amora, we'll straighten them out. 1, 2, 3. Rab Zayda, no, Atkan, Tchiyasa Meitzim. That was over. And he said he brought him back alive. So the next year he invited him again. He invited him again to the Suda. He said, well, hold. So what are you afraid of? I'll shecht you. Say, you saw what happened. I'll do it. What's the problem? It's the Gemara, no? So he said, I don't think because he was afraid he couldn't do it. He probably held in din. Of course you'll survive me, but you don't l'chatchila do something that you're going to have to do a nes. Probably that's no. In Brisk, that's what they would say. It did, but it's not a real problem with me. The smallest number, bring it back on. So anyway, now, Yesh Aimrim, I forgot who says this. The reason why that Gemara comes right after Chayav Adam Sumi V'Puri, you know why? Ba'maise, B'lister, what are the style of Chazal? You have Machloikas and then you have a story mitamol, you know? What's the story there for? There's a reason. To show you, maybe Taka shouldn't do it. Adlo Yoda. Who? Who says this? Because of the mice. There you go. Rabbeinu Chaim says the mice is a mice list or whatever. The mice that shows you loved up. Oh, but it's not on good. We paskin Adlo Yoda. Yeah, it is. Listen to this. Everybody, Allah's Olam, Yeshua's, and Zikir Rabim, the more Zikir Rabim, the more give a bracha, Allah's Olam, self-esteem. This is my Aheintige bracha, you know. Every door needs its own brachas. I give brachas for self-esteem. Come inside. From now on, self-esteem. Give a bracha. You know, they ask, what do they say? Bonum chaim azoynei. Gefes, right? What's the usual brachas they give people? Gezin, betnaches, panusa, gezin, nachas. For this door, you need a new nusach. Self-esteem. A mass self-esteem. That's Hashem is also self-esteem. Betochen. The bracha you gotta get is get betochen. I have more mileage. When I daven, I used to daven for my, to get money. And I once asked for $1 million, and within 2 weeks I got a Yerusha of 100,000. My shviga got from the Nazis, she went through Auschwitz. So I asked, Eibishter, in Borei Choleinu, Eibishter, I'd like $1 million. How about Cheverman? And what happened? 2 weeks later, I get a message on the phone. We have good news for you. The money's rolling in, $100,000. I should have said, Eibishter, you asked for $1 million. If I would have been an Emerson Mensch, I would have done that. But we got the 100,000. Shame. I never saw it anyway. My wife got a hold of it, and the rest, I don't even know. Shame. But anyway, that part I remembered. You ask, you get, come inside. Wait, give these guys, push me back a little more. I want these guys to have room. Oh, pick up the table, everybody. Let's go. Oh, that's all right. The Rebbe is not that heavy. Go on, push me back more. I'm not one of those heavy Rebbes. My wife isn't that Hungarian. It's not halba Hungarian. Come inside. It's Erev Purim on my side. Some people are mahadrin on Chanukah. Some people are mahadrin in Chanukah. I hold now, but every door has its own, I'm a hadr on Purim. I start now. What are we waiting for? I can't wait. I want to tell you something. Rav Salanta couldn't wait for Elul. They say that on Pesach he once fainted. He said, "What happened?" He revived him. He says, "I was just thinking of Elul. It's only 6 months away." So he fainted on Pesach for Elul. I want to tell you something. Do you know how sweet Elul is? I'm telling you. We're going to bring back the Novhardok to Klal Yisrael. The sweetness of an Elul, I'm telling you. You're going to love every second. Yeah, we'll talk. We're going to bring back the good old days. When the Novhardok used to cry every time they daven Shemoneh Esrei. You think that is a sweet Shemoneh Esrei. They weren't crying from depression. No. They cried with simcha, with Taras Alei. They cried, with emotion. I used to go to Kfar Hasidim. I went there once. I have a friend, Rabbi Yehuda Levenberg, at Tzaddik Yisei Delim. He's one of the fixtures of Lakewood. He's learning Kol Yama, ligging and learning. He's a son-in-law of Ramatcha Schwab at Tzaddik Amunzi. He's a very good friend of mine. He invited me to come to his place in Kfar Hasidim. He was learning Kfar Hasidim. Alzbach in Eretz Yisrael, and I came to visit him up there one. I saw Rebel Yalapi and the way he davened Shemoneh Esrei, Baruch Ato Hashem. The way he davened like a soldier, the way he said Amen Yeshmer Abba, Amen Yehei Shemeir Abba, the way he said it with his whole heart. I can't describe the way the person was so beautiful. He said Gilulio, you know that, Rebel Yalapi and the Kleinakite. Anyway, and there was a bacha there, 1 or 2 or 3 of them. They used to daven Shemoneh Esrei, used to cry and cry. I was watching every Shemoneh Esrei. They went on forever. He cried. Israeli Bachrim. How did that happen? Rebellion. We have a rebellion Lapian from Kelm. And he was there with you. He made a Reishim on them. The sweetness of Amalige, Okay, look, we say, I like to be an American Harry. Don't give me this business. Sigit, it has been a Harry. David still made me like that. I'm not a ganzer Harry either. I'm a mechzer. Okay, you should know, my father and my shver never could look at pizza. They couldn't even stomach it. They couldn't get near it. They smelled the rat. It's not much red. That's Asav. I don't know. It's Italy. But a pizza, they just couldn't do it. I mean, they smelled something's not right over here. It's too... So maybe I shouldn't say it in public. I do eat pizza. But I never, ever tasted sushi. I have no interest in it either. You can eat my sushi if you want. I have no... So that's my madrega. You know, each person has madrega, how much he ate, how much... Anyway, so let's get back. Where are we up to? So in Nevada, they cried when they damaged the I want to bring it back. You know when Elul is. Yeah, how much fun it is to cry when you're down. You're there. The Abish is next to you. You know how they did that in Nevada? I'll tell you how. The head wasn't swimming with kuvit. You know what kuvit does to you? Forget it. You're allowed to have kuvit, nishkafel. But ideally, you know. Okay, now we're talking about Purim. I had a serious physical illness. And Purim, I got up and I went to work and I davened my head off alone with the Eibishter. Mitzvah Purim, it disappeared and didn't come back. It was real. Another younger man I know, he was a 33-year-old bacher. And he took Purim serious and he became a chassan 2 months later. I know these firsthand, me and him. And of course, you know, it's known. So I hold you can do it now too. But me as a gans your Peter, I do these things all year round. I'm not kidding. Anyway, so Purim is the thing that I want to tell with the Olam I would recommend. First of all, have a good time. Kanak, enjoy. Purim, have fun. Simcha is not a joke. Simcha, people don't chap. I want to tell you something. Take a look. Binya Beis HaMikdash, Shabbos, right? You can't. Shabbos. What's Shabbos? Binya Beis HaMikdash means doing something. You know, it says Avraham Avinu didn't like people who did nothing. He liked workers. People accomplishing, doing. Batola is the worst thing. Shabbos? Chal Shabbos. Explain. What does Chil Shabbos mean? Not relaxing. Mois Yumas. Shabbos means the mitzvah is to relax. Vinyah Beis HaMikdash is to work hard, to do. And that's more holy, relaxing. The mitzvah of relaxing is more holy than doing. I don't want to get involved too much. First of all, Shabbos means bטחון. Ikanasinus Atayr is bטחון. But if you're not going to be at ease, then it's chas v'sholom dis-ease. Shabbos means relax. There's an Eibishter, don't get. The man. If you leave over, you know what leaving over means? You don't trust the Eibishter, and you got to leave over for tomorrow, the man, right? If you have a bank account, no, I didn't mean that. If you leave over, then you're not trusting him. But you see, Dosan and Avidam, the lowlifes, they're the ones who left over. Today, that would be called a practical, down-to-earth person. You must save for tomorrow. What are you doing? But then if you're not relaxed and you're having fun, and go eat as much as you want, enjoy yourself. If you're not enjoying yourself, you know what Shabbos Shabbosai means? Take a look at the Targum Yonasan, Tafnukim. They say, Adam, you have to eat good foods. Shabbat, it means you have to be very relaxed. Rashi says, Margoya, has to be mamish. There's a mitzvah to relax in the physical body. Don't do well. If you're not at ease, then you get dis-ease. Chas v'sholom. It's a matzias. You have to give yourself a break. The Eibishter, what do I want to bring from all this? And you got to be earning Shabbos. I told my Talmidim, boys, you can eat as much nash as you want. Tell your parents that I said, You must have nash. I give them homework every year of Shabbos. Dear parents, this is their homework. I'm very strict. I want to report Sunday morning that you stuffed them up with candy, chocolate cake, and ice cream. It's Shabbos. What's with you guys? I'm joking. I don't do that, but I do tell the kids that you can tell the parents in my name, I want you to have a good time. And Yom Tov, Kloyes V'Goizim. You got it. You know, the Alma Sabatka says, if you can learn old Shabbos, you pack away, finish a perik, do whatever you want. But you didn't need 3 meals, shoulder shooters, no good. And learn as much as you want. You have to have a good time. Yes. Having a good time is Kodesh Kadoshim. By us Jews, you didn't have a good time, what's with you? And this Arab doctor said in Bnei Brak, all the happy people, they were dismissed from the hospital during Corona faster than everybody. It's a Matthias in the Bria. You got to be happy. The Eibishter wants happy people. Purim, get to it. Happiness is everything. You're showing the Eibishter, I'm so happy you made me. I'm so happy to be with such lovely people. B'nai Torah, Tzadikim, Chasidim, Sfardim, the sweetest people in the world are sitting right here. And I have Dafka, the best of the best. That's my schooler. All the people that come to my thing, I'm Ruach HaKodesh. I know every person here, through and through. And I know there's the purest, holiest people are here. And when they come out of my place, they're even better if it's possible. It's even better if it's shaykh to get better. I want to tell you, Murdik, the Shoshanas HaMokim. You ever heard the Pri Megadim? Pri Megadim wrote a sefer called Shoshanas HaMokim. In the Akdama, he writes like this. First, he says, how do I write a sefer? Who me to I write? So half the Akdama is a snatzlus. How dare I write a sefer? It has chazal, kol Torah kula. Every person has a chelik in Torah, and therefore I'm allowed to. So you'll be please be me all the G'dolei Hazman, but I wrote a sefer, I'm allowed to. Anyway. Okay. Now the question is, who did I write it for? So he writes like this. You got to see it. Shoshanas HaMokim, Pri Megadim Sefer. He writes, who did I write it for? I wrote it for people on my madrega and learning, and people less than me, im yimatzeh. Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Pri Megadim, you want to look at it? Im yimatzeh. Did you hear what's going on? Today, they would say, uh-oh, which therapist could deal with him? He's got serious problems. He thinks there's nobody worse than him. He must say, if someone less than me, he must say. People got him, it seems he was okay, you know? And he didn't need a therapist after saying that. Is that interesting? Today's nusach, I don't know if I would write like that. I would write a little bit different. And you might say someone better than me, I'm not so sure you can find that. Better than me? How's that child? L'chaim taivam alisham. I spoke in one of these far off places, and I had one criticism. One criticism I had. Somebody told me you go around telling him that you're a great guy, and they don't look at it a little funny. You know, this guy goes around, I'm the best guy around. So somebody told me, people might look, I don't know if they understand, that what you're doing. What's this guy all about? He's an egomaniac. He thinks he's just that. So I decided after that, and nowadays, people aren't, I have a joke. I don't want to show it. I shouldn't show it. I have a little one of these things that says a funny thing. And this morning, after davening, I showed it around to Younger Light. I got everybody laughing their heads off. But I noticed that half the people, I don't know if they chop jokes. Not everybody chops. What was that? A joke? What's a joke? Mayin Shmitas. What's a joke exactly? What does that mean? My mother's, I have Yekisha blood. I have a side to me that's a little bit like that, I don't want to say it on Torah. You can pass it around. You want to laugh a little bit? Yeah, pass it around. So we gave it to me. It's funny. You'll see. Enjoy. No, it's good. It's a good one. L'chaim. Chaim Tov L'Shalom. You got a mach freilach. There was a yid, and Mr. Gullus just be a schus for his heilige neshama. My hat's around anyway. In his hat, it was written. I remember the first time I discovered his hat. It said it like this. There was a sticker in there, big sticker inside the hat. Instead of his name, it said like this: like H-E-L-L, it's yours. Put it back. Shoy, mach freilach. What do you care? Mach a joke. Mach. I'm not going to say that in public. Somebody told me, Mendel, that doesn't pass for you to go with that. So I says, I'm desperate. You know the Yidden I knew, Rabbi Yaakov Schlesinger. I remember him. I had a shmooze with him. He was laughing from the beginning of the shmooze to the end. He just didn't stop laughing. You know, the Yidden I knew, Reb Gershon Lieberman, used to sit there and roll. Reb Nosson used to roll. All the people I knew, they were happy. Reb Aaron Cutler was unbelievably basimcha. Him and Reb Moshe Feinstein were unbelievably basimcha every minute. You know that? I just heard it from someone who knew that. Well, a Rav there in Passaic, Rabbi Singer, I think his name is Nomer. Rabbi Singer, he told us to me. He saw Rabbi, he said, Rabbi said about Ramosha, he's my best friend. They were happy, oozing with simcha, oozing. And they were literature. Imagine. They were literature. Even literature are happy. I didn't need that. I didn't need that. Rabbi said, I didn't need that. Chas v'shalom. Literature, the happiest people around. I have to make fun of somebody over here, or else it's no. You know, l'chaim, l'chaim, tevim, l'shalom. Amen. So they want to the Rebbe's latest mifas. I once said a book a long time ago. Oh, thank you. I once said a book a long time ago. My Chassidus has a big mile of all other Chassidus. Why? Because every Chassidus, the Chassidim spend time doing different things. The Tish, you have to get the Tish ready, you have to give some money, it requires. Then there's time that you got to say how great your Rebbe is and how he's better than everyone else, that type of stuff. So that other shtickle, you don't have to do. You can learn. I take care of that. I say how great I am. I'll be much to everybody. You know, the guy says, Yalu chazar v'loi picha. Shlomo said, let other people praise you, not you. So the guy, Yalu chazar v'loi, if you don't hear them praising you, picha, you do the job. The guy says it, the Marshal says it, and I think two more before we'll say it. So I'm a hadar, just in case the other isn't raving over me, I'll do the job. So I might say that. Anyway, I'm joking. So Rabbi said, make sure Purim said alone. Tell the Abish I love you. Tell him. Say it. I love you. Say it. I love you, Tata. I love you. Like, you know, there's a sheer. Who? You want in my latest mifas? My latest mifas, I was on the phone with a couple 5 months ago. I just got a report. I had them, it was a longer. I thought it was in 10 minutes. I had one in 10 minutes. I made each one say nice stuff about each other. They were killing each other. And the Shalom Bayis turned around completely. I see this guy regularly. I have 5 of them in the same exact story. They say praises about each other? What? Praises. That was good. So each one had to say. So I had them on the phone. They were on the phone for an hour, he and her. I got a phone call 3 months later, Ad Hayom, the Shalom Bayis is a new world. Because I had them. Now, I want to tell you one thing about that one. I'll tell you. I had a shikol go on that. I held it to brainstorm. That do that. I heard other people also do it. But then one of the people I did it with, I did it 5 couples in the span of 2 weeks. And then that was that tkufa. One of the guys told me, Ad Hayom Shalom Bayis, but for a total different reason. So I told myself, I know why. Because he never had before. Until I did that, because I'm going to be samech on that trick. That's also not b'tachon in the Yevishter. I don't need that trick. Do you know how many Shalom Bayis I had without doing a thing? Someone in Eretz Yisrael, they called me a year later. He gave us a bracha Shalom Bayis on the spot. It was over. The war was over. I have a few like that. I don't know him. I don't know her. Oh, you need Shalom Bayis? Okay, Eibishter, give him Shalom Bayis. Boom. You need a therapist? Give him a bracha Shalom Bayis. I promise you. One in Eretz Yisrael, one in America. I have about 4 cases. Boom, that I remember. I probably have 10 more. But give a bracha Shalom Bayis. Gendik. Don't get complicated. I'll tell you one of the cases that I had that didn't last. It lasted 1 week. I gave Shalom Bayis. Especially when I don't want to hear the details. I get a special siyata d'shmaya. You know, a bracha is not daba b'mida, b'mishkol, or b'minyan. There's a Gemara in Tainus. There's no bracha. Details can kill your tmimus. It can kill your b'tachon. Details are no good. So, when you know details, it makes you lose. You start thinking too much. You lose everything. So the same the Beis Halevi says about in Parnasa. Yeah, but you don't know. Yeah, b'tachon, things will happen once you start being ma'ayin. You lose your b'tachon. I tell you, murder gemaisa. My b'tachon weeklies. When I stand around and I want to see who's taking it, who's getting it, no good. It's against. I just was Mesiel Das from the whole thing, and I'm standing by the mikveh. I'm talking to somebody. The whole place is taking it from me. You're a mazik because you're worried and you're thinking how, what, when. You hear this? You hear it? You hear it? I heard a meiser, a Baron Kreiser. This guy's he's a shver who was holding out Edemis all over, and one of the new Edemis. The new one was a bookkeeper. He says, okay, I'll look at the books. And he looks at all the books. And he says, Shver, according to the books, you're bankrupt. So the Shver says, who tells you to look at the books? That's something. And he wasn't about it. You get into details, you fall. This younger man with the Shalom Bayis, this guy, his wife texts him all his chesrenos. And she's good. She is good. You're crazy. She never should have married you. She's gewaldig. She knows how to say. Novhardok would run after her. Just what we're looking for. Looking high and low. You foot the bill. The long. She has knows how to put him in place. And this guy, he showed me this. His wife's texting, Zach. He saves them. He saves, he wants to hold on to those beautiful letters that his wife writes him. Don't ask me why he does that. Then he tells me, look what she does. It's like a ganze mahagatzach. So when I just started with him, I gave him one bracha. And I says, I can't get involved. This is too messy for me. I don't want to get involved. I gave him one bracha. And that night, he said, the next day he calls me, something got into me. I suddenly started doing the dishes. I was acting different. My wife, he showed me the text. I don't know what happened to you, but you're so different. Then he says, look at the next text. Dear so-and-so. The only text that was nice, right after my bracha. This went on for a week. They were mamish happy. It was murder. More things were happening, and suddenly that's working, and this is working. It worked for a week until they went back to the therapist. So I promise you, I'm not saying this. They went back to the therapist, and it was over. You know, the other one I had was also such a matzav, where I told one of them was a long distance, and they're both on the phone, and he starts cursing out to the ground. I didn't like it. I said, "Oh, this is nicht for me. You're going to tell me she did wrong, that you're going to crossfire." I don't deal with that. I can't be civil that stuff. You're cured. No more shalom bayis. That Shabbos, this person never looks his wife in the face. He always looks away. That's the problem. That's the man. They're married many, many years. He doesn't look at her. He doesn't, I don't know. Shmir Sinai. Cook the stop the fry. Doesn't look at her. The Shabbos after the bracha, there were 100 people in his house. And he made Kiddush. He ignored all the 100 people and he was looking at his wife all the time. And a year and a half later, he called me up. The Shalom Bayis is A1. I gave one bracha. Don't complicate me, you know? Anyway, spend some time with the Yebishter. How much more? Okay, 2 minutes left, 3 minutes left. I'll start with the questions. Spend time alone with the Rabbeinu Shalom. And until Purim, take along. They have these little tiny jacks. If you don't want to take along a little funny thing like I'm carrying, like this thing. How many people held it was Nishkash, you know? Nishkash. Oh, it wasn't bad, was it? I need more like this. You know, you need some good.
They have 500,000 people curious what the joke is.
What the joke is? I don't know. For those that are going to say that doesn't pass, you'll have to be here. So I'll show it to you. I keep you in suspense. That makes me more chashiv. You think you know everything? This is reserved for those who are zeicha to be here. You got to be zeicha to hear my jokes. These jokes are holy. The two batchonim, the Gemara and Tainus, b'nei olam abba. They'll make cheering up. No, Simcha is not a joke. The belt don't chap. You know what the best of us say? Simcha's and gullus. They think a happy guy's a little funny. He's a little tzidreit. Oh, he's always lifting. He's always lifting. You know, it's not the belt doesn't chap. What it's everything. It's machal. Chilul Shabbos means chilul fun. That's what it means. Chilul relaxing. Chilul b'tachon. People, you have to have b'tachon. When you're in trouble, you got to calm yourself down. So you have b'tachon. It's a mitzvah. Rav Weinkrantz stuff. You're mechuyev to chill out, and your body, he'll tell you. You don't chill up. Oh. They say the books they write. The businessmen who don't know how to fight worry. It's not healthy physically. I don't want to say what happens. It's not worry. Whoever calls me up. You know how many people I saved? And I says, one of my best cases, I've mentioned it many times. You're afraid of his Yanis. He had Yena Machla. And I says, tell me, who's bothering you? And sure enough, his wife yells at him an hour a day, according to his perception. If he says an hour, it's probably half an hour. But if people always see things, you know, like this. And if he says she's Shrekla, she's probably, you gotta subtract a big chunk. Everything we do, we blow up. You know that? We blow up. You gotta see good. You can't, everybody makes things bad. I gotta tell you my Reb Shlenkala from Bubov, a friend of mine. He was a Baal Tshuva, he became a Bubov. And parents got a hold of him, put on a beard right away. He fitted very well with even though Baal Tshuva, but he was one of the boys overnight. He could have been a Glitziana Yid from 50 years ago. He fit in. He wasn't like, oh, how did they, you know, Baal Tshuva is a little bit, they got a lot of schar, those people. Those guys that make Birkas HaTorah and everyone looks at them, who's that interesting guy? Boy, are they getting Elam Haba. Their biggest Torah is better than all of ours. I tell you, the Yekis, I'm a Yeki myself. Torah Sao, they'll say not Torah, and everyone's smirking. He's the one person that has the Eibishter. Everyone else, mach chain of bruchas. He's him with his litvisher, he says it good. The Chassidische sagt this in his way. Everybody's got it backing of that's the way to do it. Feels to get, and he feels out of place. I hold his biggest Torah is worth 1,000 times more than anybody. And everything. Any guy that's a little interesting in any way, you should thank Hashem 1,000,000 times. If he's quiet, thank Hashem. You're quiet, you don't get so much covered. Beautiful. Or this guy doesn't like me so much. A bracha. It's just the opposite of what you think it is. Thank Hashem all day for all those. I'm a little this. Gavaldig. It's been a Shemayim. It takes away Gehenna, so you don't have so much covered. Now, Reb Shlomo said, so he came in one day without a beard because his parents made him ice board. He came into the tish. Reb Shlomo was he sweet. Reb Shlomo Babava. Was he sweet. I remember he was Zizkait Alein. He had class. He loved everybody. Just look at his face. The goodness is all over the place. Anyway, so I watched him when on his tish where he gave out all the chalas and he watched. Did you get? He's birthday. His whole mahalach. He's loving everybody. Anyway, so you know what he said? In front of everybody, he came in without his beard, because his parents, about Tshuva, they didn't let him. He came in like this, and he noticed it. In front of the whole tish, they buche hat noch abud. This bacher still has a beard. He did the best he could. The parents made him take it off. That means he lost the beard? No. He didn't. He has two beards. No. I hold he has two beards. That's the only magia I would give. I would say, he's having bezyonis, and he couldn't help it. His parents, I would say, punkt verkehrt.